Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that just when everyone thought the Roloff family had settled down, something absolutely shocking happened? Yes, you heard me right, a twist no one saw coming. Tori Roloff has just given birth to a brand new baby, and the way it all happened left Zach, the fans, and even Little People Big World producers completely stunned. But wait, this wasn't your usual "oh, we're expecting" moment. This was something wrapped in secrecy, emotion, and a bit of fear. Because according to sources close to the Roloff family, the pregnancy wasn't even publicly known until after the baby was already here. Can you imagine that? Keeping something this big, a whole new baby, away from the spotlight, in a family that lives on television? That's right. Today, we're diving deep into how Tori Roloff managed to keep this emotional chapter hidden, why Zach's reaction melted fans' hearts, and what this means for the future of the Roloffs. Music softens, tone becomes warm. Let's rewind the story. A few months ago, Tori had been noticeably quiet online. No big Instagram updates, no family videos, and barely any new content about their daily life. Fans started asking, "Where's Tori? Is everything okay?" Some even speculated that maybe she was taking a break. Maybe something was wrong. But behind closed doors, something truly magical was happening. Tori and Zach had made a decision to step away from the cameras for a while and focus on something deeply personal. Because after years of ups and downs, heartbreaks, and the emotional toll of being in the public eye, the Roloffs wanted a moment of peace. Tori especially had been through a lot, from dealing with mom shaming online to managing health scares with her previous pregnancies. So this time, she told Zach, "Let's keep this one just for us, at least for now." And so they did, month after month, while fans speculated and news pages searched for clues. The Roloffs quietly prepared for their next big blessing. Tori would wake up early to check on her little ones, pack lunches, and homeschool, while keeping her growing belly under loose sweaters and oversized hoodies. Zach, meanwhile, worked around the house, fixing things, preparing the nursery, and smiling every time he passed by the tiny crib he'd built with his own hands. It was calm, simple, private. Something the Roloffs hadn't experienced in a long, long time. But then everything changed one quiet morning. It was around 6:30 a.m. when Tori felt something strange. Not panic, not pain, but a familiar pressure she couldn't ignore. She looked at Zach and said softly, "I think it's time." Zach jumped up instantly, his heart racing, hands shaking. Even though it was their third baby, it felt like the first all over again. He grabbed the hospital bag, one they'd secretly packed weeks ago, and rushed Tori to the car. They didn't even call anyone. No cameras, no press, just them. The drive was quiet, full of nervous laughter and deep breaths. Tori clutched Zach's hand and whispered, "I can't believe this is happening. I thought I was ready, but I'm scared again." And Zach said something that fans later found absolutely heartwarming. "I was scared every single time, but every time, it was worth it." Those words carried her through the entire delivery. Hours later, when the world was still asleep, a tiny cry filled the hospital room. It was the sound of new life, a brand new chapter in the Roloff story. Tori and Zach's baby had arrived safely. Doctors smiled, nurses cheered quietly, and Zach, oh, Zach! He broke down in tears. Not from fear, not from exhaustion, but from joy so pure it brought the entire room to silence. He whispered, "She's perfect." Or was it he's perfect? At that moment, no one knew because Tori and Zach didn't reveal the baby's gender right away. They wanted that, too, to be private. But what they did share was that both mother and baby were healthy, and that this time, they'd truly done things their way. When the news finally broke days later, fans were in absolute shock. Instagram lit up like wildfire. The caption read, "Our hearts are full. We welcomed our newest little Roloff, and we're soaking in every minute. Thank you all for respecting our privacy. The photo? A soft golden image of Tori holding the baby's tiny hand. No face reveal, no over-edited moment, just pure love. Comments poured in from across the globe. Congratulations, Tori and Zach. You both deserve this happiness. Welcome, little one. Even Amy Roloff, Zach's mom, commented something emotional. Another grandbaby to love, my heart could burst. And that, my friends, marked the beginning of what would soon become one of the most heartfelt stories in Little People Big World history. But hold on, that's not where it ends. Because behind the celebration, there was something deeper going on. Something that would change Zach's perspective forever. After years of challenges from family feuds to property disputes with Matt Roloff, Zach finally realized what truly mattered. Not the farm, not fame, not even the show. It was this moment. His wife, his kids, his newborn baby, and the peace they built away from the cameras. He said later in an emotional interview, "When I saw my baby's face, I forgot about everything else. The drama, the fights, the pressure, it all disappeared." That line hit fans straight in the heart. Because for the first time, Zach Roloff wasn't just the farmer's son or the TV dad. He was a husband, a father, and a man completely devoted to his family's happiness. So now the big question everyone's asking is, will this baby be part of Little People Big World? Or will the Roloffs finally take a step away from reality TV to live quietly on their own terms? Tori hasn't said much about it yet. But if we've learned anything from this story, it's that this couple knows how to protect what's sacred. Maybe this baby is their chance to start fresh, to live, love, and grow without the world watching every single move. One thing's for sure, Tori and Zach Roloff's newest addition is not just a baby, it's a symbol of hope, healing, and the beauty of family. Because in the end, life isn't about fame or attention. It's about moments like these tiny hands, tearful smiles, and the quiet joy that reminds us, we're home. Now, after the baby's birth, the Roloff world was buzzing with excitement. But inside that joy, there was still a storm quietly brewing. Because while Zach and Tori were celebrating the most beautiful chapter of their lives, the rest of the Roloff family was trying to process the news in their own ways. Amy Roloff, Zach's mom, was the first to find out after the baby was born. When she got the call from Zach, her voice cracked. She said, "I knew something was happening. A mother always knows, but I didn't realize how close it was." Amy rushed to meet them, and when she finally saw that tiny little bundle wrapped in a soft white blanket, her eyes filled with tears. It wasn't just another grandchild for her. It was a piece of healing. Because deep down, Amy had been longing for the family to feel whole again. The arguments with Matt, the split, the property drama, it had all created distance. But this new baby, this innocent little life, brought everyone's hearts back to one place, even if just for a moment. Amy leaned over and whispered to Tori, "You did it, sweetheart. You made it through everything, and look at this gift." Tori smiled, tired but glowing. And Zach? He couldn't stop staring at both his mom and his wife, two women who shaped his entire world in completely different ways. Amy held the baby and whispered, "You have no idea how much love is waiting for you." And just like that, the Roloff family had something new to celebrate. But let's talk about Matt Roloff, Zach's father. Now, fans know that the relationship between Matt and Zach hasn't been perfect lately. Ever since the farm drama, the sale, the hurt feelings, things had been tense. So when Matt first heard the news, his reaction surprised everyone. He didn't rush to social media. He didn't post pictures. He quietly drove to see his son, no cameras, no crew, no show. When he arrived, Zach was holding the baby. There was a pause. No words, just silence, the kind that only happens between father and son when there's a lot left unsaid. Finally, Matt smiled softly and said, "He's beautiful, Zach. You did good." Zach nodded, quietly emotional. For the first time in a long while, they weren't arguing, they were just family again. And fans later noticed something subtle but powerful. Matt started posting more positive, family-centered captions. He even shared a simple photo of baby socks with the words, "New beginnings, new hope." That one post said everything. Meanwhile, fans were completely losing it online. In the best possible way, people from all over the world started posting messages like, "This is the most beautiful surprise ever. Tori and Zach deserve every bit of this happiness. Please tell us the baby's name." Speculation went wild. Some fans thought the name might be Grace, because Tori mentioned that word several times in old posts. Others believed it would be something biblical, like Elijah or Faith. But the truth? Tori and Zach weren't in a hurry to reveal it. They said in an interview later, "We wanted to live in the moment, not rush to share it with the world." That statement touched hearts everywhere, because in a world obsessed with instant fame and social media, here was a couple choosing peace, love, and privacy. And that made their story even more powerful. But here's something most people don't know. The weeks leading up to the baby's birth were not easy. Tori had quietly struggled with fear that something might go wrong. After her previous pregnancies, she had moments of anxiety, sleepless nights, and tears that no one saw. Zach later revealed that he would often wake up at night to find her sitting in the nursery, staring at the crib. When he asked what was wrong, she'd say softly, "I just want everything to be okay this time." It's moments like these that remind us these are real people with real emotions, not just TV characters, but a family that feels, hurts, and hopes just like anyone else. Zach said something beautiful in one interview. "Tori's the strongest person I know. She's been through so much, and yet she still finds a way to smile every single morning. That's love, that's partnership." And when their baby finally arrived healthy, all that fear turned into relief and gratitude. Once they brought the baby home, the Roloff household turned into a warm little bubble of chaos and laughter. Malay, Jackson and Lila, their other two children, were over the moon. Jackson kept running around, saying, "I'm a big brother again," while Lila tried to help by bringing baby blankets, toys, and even her own stuffed animals to the crib. Tori joked in a video later, "They're both obsessed with the baby. It's adorable and terrifying at the same time." Zach started doing late-night diaper duties like a pro, while Tori spent hours rocking the baby to sleep. The house smelled like baby lotion and coffee, a true sign of new parent life. But most importantly, there was peace, a kind of happiness that doesn't need applause or an audience. Then came a turning point. After weeks of rest, Tori sat down for a heartfelt vlog and finally revealed the baby's name. Everyone, meet our newest little miracle, Ava Rose Roloff. Ava Rose, a name that symbolized beauty and rebirth. Fans fell in love instantly. She explained that Ava means life, and Rose was a tribute to Zach's grandmother, who always encouraged them to live with grace. Zach smiled and added, "She's already got all of us wrapped around her tiny finger." The video went viral, not because it was flashy, but because it was real. No scripted moments, no filters, just a family sharing love. And for the first time in a long while, viewers of Little People Big World felt that same warmth that made them fall in love with the Roloffs years ago. In one emotional clip, Tori opened up about something deeper. "You know, after everything we've been through, the family stuff, the cameras, the pressure, this baby reminded us why we started sharing our story in the first place. It's about love, not drama." Those words hit fans hard. Because the Roloffs had faced tough times, public disagreements, online criticism, family tension, and yet, they found their way back to what truly matters. Zach added, "This isn't about the farm anymore. It's about family. And for me, Tori and our kids are the farm, they're my home." That line became one of the most quoted lines among fans, shared across social media with heart emojis and emotional comments. Weeks later, Tori wrote a heartfelt message to her followers. Thank you for the love and support. We may not share every detail anymore, but please know your kindness means the world to us. Motherhood is wild, beautiful, and sometimes hard, but it's always worth it. It wasn't just a thank you note, it was a statement, a quiet way of saying, we're still here, just living differently now. Fans responded with thousands of comments filled with gratitude and admiration. People called her the most genuine mom on TV, and many said watching her journey gave them hope. And that's the magic of Tori Roloff. She connects not because she's famous, but because she's real. Now everyone's wondering what's next for Zach and Tori. Will they continue with Little People Big World, or step away for good? In a recent interview, Zach smiled mysteriously and said, "You never know. For now, we're just enjoying being a family." Some insiders say they might start their own family YouTube channel, one focused on parenting, love, and real life beyond the TV show. Others think they'll take a long break and maybe even move somewhere quieter. Whatever they decide, one thing is clear: they've learned how to protect their peace. And sometimes that's the biggest victory of all. So let's take a moment to reflect. From secrecy to celebration, from fear to faith, Tori and Zach Roloff's journey reminds us that real happiness doesn't need a spotlight. It's in the sleepless nights, the baby giggles, the hugs after long days, and the quiet strength of two people choosing love over chaos. Their new baby, Ava Rose, didn't just bring joy, she brought balance. She reminded the Roloffs and all of us that every ending can lead to a beautiful new beginning. So, to Tori and Zach, congratulations once again. May your home always be filled with laughter, tiny feet, and endless love. And to everyone watching, remember, life's most beautiful moments often happen off camera. Because sometimes the greatest stories aren't filmed, they're simply lived.